UFC Kansas City took place almost a week ago, and I am fashionably late in making this recap. I've been slacking off a little bit. I've been away for a few days, but I thought, you know what, better late than never. Let's make this recap. Starting off with Alaskarov versus Muniz. Alaskarov is back in the win column. He got knocked out in the fight before against Robert Whittaker in brutal fashion. So he had to win this one if he wants any stake in the middleweight division, which is in a very good spot, and it has not been in recent memory. You know, we've got good guys at the top. We've got Imavov, we've got Chimaev fighting for the belt. We've got fighting nerds guys, the fighting nerds people there as well, Kaya Baralio. So this was a must win by Alaskarov, and he passed with flying colors, knocked out Muniz in the first round. It was a short fight. I mean, the shot didn't really look like it landed. Askarov had Muniz on the back foot for pretty much the whole round. I mean, I don't know what was up with Muniz, but he was on the back foot. He was behind the black lines, seemingly against the cage or close to the cage for the majority of that round. And Alaskarov lands his shot at the right point, and it wasn't like a fast shot or a heavy shot, but it was just picture perfect. It was exactly where it had to land, and it kind of shook my knees, and yeah, and then he knocked him out, TKO'd him. So well done by Alaskarov. Um, be interesting to see where he goes from here. I don't know who he fights next. Um, I'll have to think about that one. Moving on up, Randy Brown versus Nicholas Delby. This was another fun fight as well. The main card started off with two finishes, which was pretty good. Randy Brown versus Nicholas Delby was a fun fight. The start of the first round, Randy Brown just rearranges the face of Nicholas Dalby, just sends his nose to the other side of his face, and was kind of just tagging him in that first round. And he gets caught in like the last minute and a half, and Nicholas Dalby gets on top. You could kind of have the round either way. I wouldn't be crazy to score it for Dalby, but it also wouldn't be wild to score it for Brown. The second round rolls around, and it ends with Randy Brown basically hollowaying Nicholas Dalby. It was like a Justin Gagey, Holloway-esque end to the fight. Right hook which basically just sleeps Dalby. I don't think it slept him as bad as Gagey, but potato. It sent him to the canvas. Great win by Randy Brown. This fight took a bit of a. This was a bit of a slump compared to the previous two, Pereira versus Magomedov. I mean, there was a lot of questions about the cardio between these two guys. If you were predicting this fight, it was basically a question of who has the worst cardio, Michel Pereira or Abbas Magomedov. Obviously, Abbas Magomedov, who had, in recent memory, lost to Sean Strickland by finish after basically gassing out and I think winning the first round against Sean Strickland as well. But man, Bahia just I don't know. I don't know how old he is. I think he's quite old. Maybe his age is showing a little bit, but it just looked like he didn't want to even be. I don't know. I mean, the numbers look. If you look at the total strikes, it kind of looks a bit more competitive than it was, but he just wasn't doing anything. He was just kind of just cruising, and it looked like he was just resigned to losing a decision loss, basically. So Abbas just outpointed him for 3 rounds and got the victory. Um, Not sure if it's a great win given Michel Behe's performance, but he got the job done. I was about to say Giga Chikadze versus David Onama. I didn't. This was a close fight. I think the story of the fight was Giga Chikadze was outstriking Onama on the feet, but the takedowns of Onama kind of secured him, I think, the victory. Um, I think it was the third round. There was a clash of heads. I mean, you could see it coming. I mean, when these exchanges were happening throughout the fight, you could see the head of Chikadze just dip constantly. There was bound to be a clash of heads. I was like, "This is gonna happen," and it does, and it sends him to the canvas. Well, I don't think he was rocked by it per se, but Onama kind of capitalized and took him to the ground and held him there, and ended up winning the fight by decision. Yeah. I don't know where Chikadze goes after this. He's like, what, 40 years old now? I mean, I don't think there's a path to the top of the division. I mean, the featherweight division it's always been quite well stacked with talent. Um, so if you're Chikadze, man, hang it up. Time to call it quits. Moving on up, Anthony Smith versus Zhang Ming Yang. This is a good fight. That was a good. I mean, this was a good fight. I mean, exactly how it was supposed to go. I mean, Anthony Smith just curls up into a little ball in the fetal position and quits. There's really not much else to say. I mean, Zhang was just spamming those elbows, those step-in elbows or whatever they are, and Anthony Smith just curls up. He's taking shots. I felt some of them were to the back of the head as well, but I mean, he wasn't going to win either way. Let's be real. And the referee calls it. It was a TKO win for Ming Yang. Good to see a Chinese prospect coming up. I mean, we'll see how far he gets. The Chinese market is huge, and I think the UFC wants to go there. And we don't really have a male kind of, you know, prospect or kind of star. We kind of got Song Yedong. I mean, who else do we really have? Tatsuro. No, I'm joking. That's kind of racist. Um, we don't really have a Chinese prospect, right? So if we can get this guy, winning, that would open up that market for the UFC. It'd be good for the UFC. And then we have the main event: Ian Machado, versus Carlos Prates. I didn't make a prediction on any of these. I didn't make a prediction video for this fight card, but I had Garry winning. I was predicting him to win, and it went not quite as accurately as I thought it would go. I wasn't particularly accurate with my assessment of the fight. I thought he would be more effective with the grappling, um, but he was actually less effective with the grappling, and then actually more effective on the striking. And I think it's worth pointing out that the effectiveness in the striking may still have been opened up because Carlos Prates would have been worried or wary of potential takedown attempt from Garry, even though he wasn't necessarily getting all of the takedowns. Can't remember how many. He got 4 takedowns, but he attempted quite a few, as you can see. And Pratis was able to, he demonstrated his ability to get back up, and that was good to see from him. But man, you smoke cigarettes, man. I mean, how are you gonna win a fight? Like how are you gonna win? It would be such a bad look if Pratis won against Ian Garry. Look, if you guys hate Ian Garry, and I know a lot of people do, right? I'm not particularly, a big fan of Ian Garry or anything like that, but like he's putting a good body of work. I mean, I know he lost to Shavkat or whatever, but he's putting a good body of work together. And someone like Prates who, yeah, he's knocking people out, but man, this guy might imagine a smoker being the champion of the UFC. That's such a but like that would look so terrible if Gary had lost, and he almost did lose. I can't remember if it was the 4th or 5th round. I can't remember which round it was. It might have been the 5th round actually. I think it was the last round. Prates kind of reversed position and ends up landing these big shots. I mean, he's a heavy-handed guy, Prates is. So if he just hits you, even if it's like in close distance, it's gonna hurt, and it was hurting Gary big time. I mean, he was Prates should have capitalized and just kept going, but he has smoker's cardio. He doesn't have the gas tank to do it. A lot of people were saying his gas tank was actually okay because he lasted 5 rounds, but just because you last the full 5 rounds doesn't necessarily negate that argument. Because I think it was clear he was trying to pace himself. I mean, 7 strikes in the first round, 12 strikes in the second. Like, what is that? It's clear he was trying to pace himself. He was worried. He's like, "Oh, my smoker's lungs won't hold up in the fourth and fifth." It was clear he was operating at a much lower pace to ensure that he would last the whole 5 rounds. So that doesn't necessarily mean he has good cardio because he lasted the 5 rounds. The pace wasn't particularly great from him for that reason. I mean, he won't last at a higher pace. It kind of went how I thought it would on his part. I didn't think Gary would get hurt like that in the fifth. At any point in the fight, I thought he'd cruise a bit more with the grappling. I thought he'd just cruise to a victory, but he had a bit of trouble in the fifth round. But still, well played to well played to Gary. I mean, listen, they got to do the buck versus the cuck. I think that's the next fight to make. Ian Garry versus Joaquin Buckley, man. I mean, there's history there. There's a bit of drama there, and all of that stuff. It'll be a fun fight to watch. Uh, Gary seems to be. I don't want to be. I hate people. I hate when people throw the term "duck" out there. Right? I don't think Gary is a type to duck anyone, but he's not really kind of you know eyeing for that matchup. I mean, I think he's been asked in interviews, and He's just been dismissive of Buckley, which is crazy to say because that fight would be a big fight. And I mean, if you win against Buckley, like I think you could get a title shot after that fight. I mean, you can't get a title shot after being Prates. Like, what's wrong with you? There was some interview where Gary was talking about how you could get a title shot after being Prates. I mean, that's just a bit delusional. But let me know what you guys thought of the fights, and I'll catch you next time.